is an alaya or an abode of dukkha, of misery. It is not referred to as sukhalayam, it's referred to as dukkhalayam. And the other Vedic scriptures emphasize that there is a continuous barrage of influences in our life that cause us to get anxious or worried or fearful or in pain. Specifically, this word is used, klesha. Klesha means any form of suffering or misery, mental or physical. And it's explained that there are three kinds of such kleshas. One is called the adhi-bhautika klesha, which means the miseries that are inflicted by other living entities upon us. It may be, of course here you don't have so many mosquitoes and flies, but mosquito bites or cockroaches or rats, or even your fellow colleagues in office, your boss in office, your subordinates, your customers, your clients, or just the people on the street. Basically, miseries caused by other living entities. The second is called adhi-daivika klesha. Miseries caused by nature. Heat, cold, snow, rain, cyclones, tsunamis, earthquakes, and so on. And the third is called adhyatmika klesha, which means miseries caused by one's own body and mind. Hunger, thirst, mental anxiety for various reasons, goals not reached, targets set and not achieved. So many types of physical and mental troubles come upon us. So whatever be the cause, these result ultimately into discomfort, stress. And eventually when the stress levels rise to a certain point, it leads to even a disease. A disease is nothing but a state of dis-ease. And the stress causes a de-stress. So this is the result of stress going out of control. But often people confuse stress with the word stressor. A stressor is a cause of stress. Every day we are subjected to the influence of stressors. For example, the most common form of stressors which induce stress, which induce some adverse sentiment like fear or anxiety or pain within us, these stressors are all around us. For example, today it is most common to have stressors in interpersonal relationships. That's the number one reason in the modern day world. And as I travel everywhere, I see this. Human relationships are becoming increasingly dysfunctional. More and more people can't get along with each other. Very hard to find more than two people living together peacefully for a long time. I was recently in Melbourne and one gentleman was supposed to come to meet me. He came. He looked quite stressed. So I asked him, what happened? You look a little worked up. He said, just as I was stepping out of my house, then on the street I saw a scene that has shaken me up a bit. So I said, what happened? He said, there was a young couple, an Australian couple. And the man was in his jeans without a shirt. He was bare-chested. They had just come out of their house, which must have been one of the neighbors' houses. And there was a young lady with him, and both were arguing very loudly as though they came out of the house, and she was storming off in a huff. And he was trying to persuade her to stay back, or there was some very loud argument going on. And it became a very bitter quarrel, very loud. It became a little physical as well. And finally she just left in a huff. And this young man then fell to his knees and started sobbing. And this man was looking at this situation. So he said, it shook me up to see this, because this is my neighbor. And I've known these people. Then he told me another interesting thing. He said, this kind of problem happens more during the long Easter weekend. So I said, why? Because they stay together. Meaning that at other times they're all busy, morning to night, going for work, they come back tired, go to sleep, wake up again go out. In any case, they don't cook at home, so they eat out. So that much lesser time to interact. And long Easter weekend is a time when 3 or 4 days are available together. So then they quarrel because they don't have any strong foundation for the relationships. Because there is no higher purpose for which they are living. Therefore, this kind of quarrel is very common all over the world now. India is not exempt from it. Stress from such interpersonal issues is the number one cause of all sorts of stress. The number one stressor. Divorces are becoming so common in India, it is unbelievable. It is shocking. It is sometimes I feel, am I in India or where am I? In Bombay, I know some people who are lawyers and they know their friends are divorce lawyers. They are the highest earning lawyers nowadays. And the kind of stories they have to tell, I would not like to repeat in front of any people who want to retain their peace of mind. So there is something drastically wrong with the way we are living in our life now. So we say that life is very stressful, but are we not creating this stress for ourselves unnecessarily? What seems to be going wrong? That our relationships seem to be crumbling like this day by day, rapidly. Bereavements are also another cause of great anxiety and stress. So interpersonal relationships are one important stressor. There may be environmental stressors. Like for example, as I was coming here, the traffic jam, it just wouldn't end. But we have to keep calm because you can't do anything about it. You have to, as they say in Australia, grin and bear it. And then just bide your time till you come. So you may lose your keys, you may be caught in a traffic jam. The little things of life that keep disturbing us every now and then. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's okay, I'll take it if I need it. Okay. So the little things of life, our daily life also are stressors. There are work-related stressors, very high targets, very difficult targets, many tasks to be performed, again interpersonal issues in the office, many work-related issues. There are social issues, there are of course our own internally generated issues. Stressors are of all kinds, health-related stressors, family-related stressors, financial stressors. So there's numerous causes of stress. So the causes and the results are often confused, are mixed up, are conflated, but they're not necessarily so. Because what causes stress to one person may not cause stress to another person. So a similar stressor may have different effects on people because we are all different individuals. We are made up differently. We have different mentalities, different attitudes. We have different approaches to life. Our natures are different. Some people thrive on a little bit of stress. Some people just break down with stress. Some people break and some people break records in stress. So different people respond differently. And that also has to do, we can analyze it very deeply from the point of view of Bhagavad Gita. It's a very fascinating tool we have of the Trigunas, the three modes of Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. We may not have time today to go into a detailed analysis of it, but a brief mention I will make later. But depending on one's mental makeup and one's situation in life, one will deal with stressors or respond to stressors differently. That is also something that is connected to the concept of the stress threshold. Imagine a bell curve, the positive sine curve. And stress in the beginning can actually be helpful. And psychologists call it eustress, EU meaning good, and stress. So there's eustress is something that is positive and maybe even motivating and beneficial. It may give us that extra inducement or that motivation to do things. It brings in that flow of adrenaline a little bit, that gush of excitement that is necessary, that enthusiasm that is necessary to accomplish anything. In Bhagavad Gita terminology, we would call it the Rajagun, the mode of passion. Because any act of creation involves the mode of passion. Be it creating a painting, creating an enterprise, creating anything in this world needs the mode of passion. Destroying anything involves what's called the mode of ignorance, which is tamogun. The most difficult, however, is called the sattvagun, which is the mode in which things are maintained. That's the biggest challenge of all. It's easiest of all to destroy things. It's difficult but still relatively easy to create things. In a gush of passion we can go and create many things. But it's the most difficult of all to maintain things. So in the initial phases, those in the mode of passion or even those in the mode of goodness who want to create need to incorporate a little bit of the mode of passion for enabling the act of creation. So in the upward rise of the curve, of the bell curve, there is what we may call healthy stress, in which the productivity of a person is enhanced. And one actually feels enthused to work. The goals are somewhat out of reach, but not out of sight. And therefore one feels a sense of challenge. One feels a sense of achievement. One feels induced and enthused to want to go ahead and do something there. Life would be indeed a little boring if we had nothing challenging to do in life. Most people's work stress is also because of the monotony and the drudgery of day-to-day work. The same thing every day. One of the biggest victims of stress in corporate life and in manufacturing concerns are those on the assembly line. Because it's just the same thing they have to do. Just the production is going on and they just have to see that it's done. It's a very mechanical, routinely done thing. There's no scope for any creativity, no scope for any change, any challenge.